polishing a Jeep, in fact, polishing my Jeep. Ivan LaCroix, I've got the combo for the job.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. We are going to be polishing your Jeep, but that's not the combo we're using.
So I like the rotary and the jeweling pad.
Right.
Why aren't we using it?
We put ceramic gloss on this. Ceramic gloss, we need to remove it. That is on the verge of not being enough. It could be enough, but just to be safe, we're going to be using the yellow pad and the DA.
I thought when we're abrading a coating, all we need is the jeweling pad. I assume that removing something like ceramic gloss, you just need a similar amount of light cut for that.
The yellow pad gives us a little more assurance.
Okay.
And we know that this Jeep has also been to a body shop from the last time we did it. We don't know what they did with it.
So we do want the yellow pad. It's the pad for everyone. It gives you a nice amount of cut, great finish. Can you talk about the yellow pad and the dual action while I go and get mine?
Yeah. So we're using our 25mm stroke dual action machine. The cord-free version, if you have the corded version, great as well. And this yellow pad, you'll notice it's got some staining on it. That staining is fine. It's nothing to be scared about. It's actually a very clean pad. It just has staining because the last vehicle we did, the black trim, was very, very chalky.
I've got some on mine as well. We have not cleaned these yet. We're gonna go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Now for cleaning, fun little sprayer, but you can use a standard spray bottle.
That's what you keep your rinseless wash in.
Yeah. But I also have this little spray bottle here, so you can do it this way too.
Okay.
It depends how much fun you want to have.
Speaking of depends, our pad washer is not out as the time of this recording.
No, it's not out. We have a few issues. We're getting over those issues, and when we do, trust me, you'll know when we release it.
Not issues with the quality of the prototype or the tool.
No, it's a bit of a legal issue. So anyways. And now I'm ready to polish. I just need to add polish to the pad, and that is 1 spray of the gold standard. Not 2, not 3, not 1.5, just 1. Then we lightly start polishing. And I'm on speed 3, which is all we need. I want to go over every area 3 times.
Question for you, Ivan.
Yes.
Polishing white paint.
Yep.
Is it different than polishing other colors? One thing I think folks may run into is I can't really see what I've done. I can't really see what results I'm getting.
Well, polishing white paint, to me, this is the most difficult paint to polish. Some people say, I hate polishing black paint. Black paint is difficult to polish. White paint is the most difficult because, as Nick said, you can't see what you're doing. So you have to be very methodical, which means left, right, overlapping passes. We're doing at least 3 passes, and then from there, you wipe it off and you look at what you're doing.
There's no danger in the owner being upset about anything we point out, so I'm gonna point something out.
Yeah.
What the heck is this? I mean, we're talking about a 10-year, it's a 2015 Jeep.
Yeah, this is a seam in the plastic that is raised, and that's from casting the plastic, and the paint is extremely thin there.
So we want to be careful polishing that?
Yes, we want to be careful polishing this. We also want to be careful polishing around these bolts because the paint will just come off them.
Anything else I should know before I go to town?
Well, this front grille, insects have baked into that over years. There's no saving this. So,
we tried last time. We actually have polished this before.
Yeah.
We tried this, and this is it.
Yeah.
What could I do to customize this if I was like, I want to make this a money pit? Like, what can I buy today?
Well,
which I think I was given good advice by David Bradshaw on YouTube.
Yeah.
Wait a year with the Jeep before you buy stuff.
This is something that you can buy a replacement grill that's black.
Ivan, this is a labor of love for me, so I'm very deeply curious about the process here. Again, I was going to do the rotary and the jeweling pad you're hell-bent on removing the ceramic gloss. I can't see the ceramic gloss.
No.
You know, how important is it that we would remove it in the first place? What if we didn't remove it and we just, I don't know, went to panel prep and coated?
If you want your coating to last, we're removing the ceramic gloss because the coating wants to bond to the paint. Ceramic gloss is there, it's not bonding to the paint, it's bonding to the ceramic gloss.
Okay, so it'll probably bead for a while, but then when the ceramic gloss, you want the durability, you do it the right way.
Exactly.
All right.
And it's a Jeep, it's not gonna take that long to polish.
Ivan, do you have any thoughts on just polishing the wiper arm? I don't polish the wiper, but the arm itself?
Yeah, these are looking a little chalky, so go ahead.
Well, I did it on this side already.
Yeah.
You can
so we can see the difference, so yeah. remove the polish residue, we're using a rinseless dampened towel. We don't have a bucket of rinseless at the moment, so I'm just going to use a sprayer to dampen the towel. Wring it out, because I don't want a wet towel. And distribute the rinseless throughout the towel by wringing it out.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
We've got this hard top on the Jeep.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on polishing that?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. I'm also going to grab the rotary to get into some tight areas. I know Ivan's a big fan of the DA, but when it comes to edge work around the gas cap and everything, I prefer the rotary. Do you have any thoughts on that?
No, that's good. Yeah, on that side, you've got a little more, a few things to go around.
Absolutely.
Now I have a rinseless dampened towel to wipe off the polishes.
So when I mentioned all those edges and why I really love the rotary, it's just on speed 1. It's our least aggressive pad. It's the jeweling pad. But on speed 1 with gold standard polish, I can just go like this and just work into areas like that. I know it's real safe. And get into areas like this. I can get up on an edge. Again, no pressure, but I prefer this to trying to get in there with a dual action. It still works as a scalpel without getting your 3-inch polisher out or your 1-inch cone. You know, I think you can do most jobs, as Ivan would probably agree, with a rotary on a 6-inch pad. Precision work with a 6-inch pad, it can be done. You might need to change the tool, but you don't need any tiny instruments. Are they nice to have? They're nice to have sometimes, but you don't need them. You can see some of these marks in there. I'm not sure where those came from, but I've got a little gold standard polish on a towel. And it may work easier to do it this way than trying to get in there with the polisher, but look at that. So there are times where you get creative. You could use a little polish on a towel and miracles can happen.
Speaking of a little polish on a towel, that's what I'm using in and around these hood clips, just to make sure we get everything out of there, because they are difficult to reach and no polisher is going to get in there. I don't care how small the machine is. It's a very small space to work. That's where your fingertip and a microfiber towel help tremendously.
Ivan, I'm reminded of how you encouraged me to use a rinseless wash dampen towel for the water spot remover step.
Yeah.
Same principle applies with the polish removal, right? You want your towel to just barely be damp.
Yeah. Unless, you know, if you have it too wet, you're just pushing moisture around. A little bit of the rinseless wash will do the job. More will just make your job harder. For
folks out there who aren't using a rinseless wash dampened towel to remove polish residue, it seems like there's camps. There's just guys out there and gals who just don't like doing it that way because Ivan says it. And then there's lots of folks who like doing that. To those who don't do it, what are they missing out on? Do you have a message for them?
Ease of use, better results, simplicity.
You really don't like wasting time or effort. You're not trying to sell them on anything here.
No, they should already have rinseless wash anyways. It's not like we're saying we have a special polish residue removal product that you need to buy. We're telling you to use something you already have.
Ivan, if ever someone said,
Yep.
I'm struggling to get gold standard polish off the paint, it's not coming off easily.
Right.
What could be some possible variables that you would give them to improve their lives?
They probably use too much heat or speed or pressure or combination thereof. There's a good chance they're using a flat pad. That overworks the polish, that creates heat on a microscopic level on the paint, causing the polish to dry up and making it difficult to remove. The other thing is, they may not have decontaminated before doing the job. Another big no-no.
You know, a lot of detailers out there love to mix and match. They don't want to be told by Ivan LaCroix, use a system, they're gonna do it their way.
Yeah.
And then they may just come to some conclusion about one of our products, and you truly believe in the system.
I've spent decades designing this system and working this system to make it more efficient, to make it user-friendly, to make it so my employees could do a job in the least amount of time with the least amount of thought and the least amount of effort. So this system predates DIY by a number of decades.
This isn't just to sell products, like you're not just, I mean, because I want to get it through to folks because they hear the system on YouTube, but they're like, well, I'm a professional.
Yeah.
I know how to really get results. So Ivan's just teaching it, he's not a real working detailer. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know, there's people who say this out there.
I know, yeah. And that's fine. They can believe what they want. But if you actually try the system as a system, so not, I bought gold standard polish, but I don't like the pads, or I bought the pads and I used it with another polish and I don't like the pads. It's designed as a system. Same thing, if you're trying to cut with a 8mm or 15mm DA, you're not gonna cut. Do it with a 21 or a 25, especially the 25, you are going to cut and you're gonna cut much more efficiently. So the system is designed to make you efficient. If you're a professional detailer, it's designed to make you profitable.
You mentioned 8mm. Our 25mm dual action is not a number that a lot of people hear out there. Do you mind elaborating on why we use a 25mm dual action?
Right. The reason we use a 25mm dual action, and when we say 25mm, it's the offset. So the pad rotates like this, but it also oscillates. And that oscillation between one side of the pad, or how it moves from side to side, is 25mm, which in the industry is one of the largest ones. The reason we went for that is if you look at this pad, and let me get a Sharpie. So let's pretend that little mark on there is a piece of abrasive, and the abrasive is microscopic, so it's not something you're gonna see. Now, when you have a rotary, it's just going around in a circle, and the speed that this dot of abrasive is going by and the speed that this dot of abrasive are going by are different. They're traveling a different distance because this one's going much slower than this one, even though it's the same revolutions. Now, if we take a dual action machine, each one of these dots, if it were abrasive, would be cutting. But because of the 25 millimeter oscillation, each one of those dots now is tracing a 25 millimeter circle. So it's acting like a 25 millimeter, and this is because of the brushless technology in the polisher, it's difficult to rotate that way. But basically what it's doing is every one of these dots is a 25 millimeter rotary. That's what it's doing. So it's a 1-inch rotary going round and round, but every one of these is a 1-inch rotary. So then you have a lot more cut than a 15 millimeter DA or even a 21, because you're growing the stroke. So just like we said, that piece of abrasive that's here versus the piece of abrasive that's there, this one is going faster. Well, same thing. If you have a 25 millimeter oscillation, that 25 millimeter oscillation is still going faster than the 15 millimeter. When we're talking about a dual action machine, we talk in orbits per minute. So this one, speed 2.5, 3 is around 3,000 orbits per minute. Same on a 15 millimeter machine, but now your abrasive is going much further and much faster, giving you more cut.
So Ivan, I finished wiping off my polish on my side. I'm a little behind you as always. I figure you should apply adhesion promoter polish. I'll follow after you.
Yeah.
But this is not just if you're coating. Like, app is a great step before any protection product.
Right, before any protection product, yes, it may be a little overboard if you're using a wax or ceramic sealant, but at the same time, if you want to do it, go ahead. It makes anything last a little longer. It gives it a little deeper gloss, because instead of applying the ceramic on the coating or on the paint, we're applying the ceramic into the paint, because it swells the paint a little bit and just does a great job of cleaning too. So it's a deep cleaning. It has a bit of abrasive, but just a very, very small amount, not a lot. And we're literally just going over the surface very quickly. We're not trying to polish with it. We're not doing 3 passes. We're spreading it on the paint. Spreading it being the key word. Another nice thing about the app is if you have a ceramic coated car and it's looking a little dull, you don't want to remove the ceramic coating by polishing like we did to remove the ceramic gloss. The app will just brighten up a coating without removing it. Nice little additional feature of the app. This is a 9-year-old Jeep. If it had a ceramic coating on it and we wanted to rejuvenate the ceramic coating by putting a new ceramic coating on, this isn't enough. You still need to polish like we did to remove the ceramic gloss. So just something to be aware of. Those original 3 drops I did, I'm still leaving product behind. I don't need to add more, and I've done the whole front end of the Jeep. So you don't need to use a lot of app.
I've got a serious question for you, Ivan.
Yeah.
This looks like a very serious tool.
Right.
This ain't cheap.
No.
We like to think of folks as having maybe a palm sander or a dual action sander sitting in their garage. Could I just, if I didn't have that, could I just hand apply app?
You can. Just go to Harbor Freight and buy a $15 palm sander. It's gonna save you a lot of time.
And is it just called a palm sander there? Or how would I know if I
just
did?
a palm sander.
Palm sander.
It's great. That's all you need.
And will that have a 5-inch backing plate?
Yeah, it'll have a 5-inch. This has a 6-inch. Not a big difference. Not enough to worry about.
So if I had a 6-inch jeweling pad, which I would order the 5 if I knew I had a 5-inch.
Yeah.
Let's say I had the 6-inch jeweling pad sitting around. Could I put that on a 5-inch plate for app?
You can, but you're gonna destroy the pad very quickly
Okay.
because it's going to dig into that edge.
Makes sense.
Backing plate is gonna destroy the foam underneath.
Got it.
So you need to be fully supported.
All right. Ivan and I have done app and coatings many times together, so I know that you can let app sit on the paint for 24 hours or 24 seconds, really, as long as it gets on and gets wiped off.
Exactly. There's no need, there's no specific curing time. Some of these primer polishes, which this isn't a primer polish, it's an adhesion promoter polish, very different. But some of the primer polishes on the market require you to be a ninja when it comes to timing because you've got X amount of minutes before you can wipe it off, and if you leave it too long, etc., etc. Once you've wiped it off, you have to put the coating on within X amount of time or else, again, not a big deal. This, the wiping off, like Nick said, 24 seconds, 24 hours, really doesn't make a difference. Same thing, once we wiped it off, we can coat immediately or we can wait till the next day. We're not gonna wait till the next day, but you can if you wanted to.
And wiping off the app is so easy.
Yeah,
It's buttery
fun.
smooth.
Yeah.
All I can think of, Ivan, as we continue to app this car,
Yep.
is it's just looking so shiny.
It is. You know, the app does increase gloss. That's a known fact. Many people have seen it. Our friend's Dimitri's garage, he did a test and he even noticed that as well with actual testing equipment, not just his eyeballs.
And it makes the ceramic coating almost self-level, which we'll show you in another video, but
Yeah.
The app has multiple benefits. I was
Right.
a skeptic for a while. I'm like, Ivan, what are you cooking up here? Like,
Yeah.
I like my panel prep.
So we just have this little section to do. We'll get that done. And we'll see you in the next video where we coat this with a very, very special coating for Nick.
When only the best will do was my thought. I'm
Yeah.
going for the 8-3 stack. If you want to learn more about the 8-3 stack, that video is right here.